And yes, we are live. And yes, it is Tuesday Live, the first of its kind in 2025. We're back. Who is excited to have us back? I see you. Can you see me? Can you hear me? Let me see your comment right in the comment section. Yes, you missed that voice, did you? If you did, let me see your comment in the comment section and saying, yes, we are live. Today, I'm going to be talking about breaking the cycle of normalized nonsense in parenting. Yeah, I am sure that you actually want to be in this class. Invite your family, your friends, tell someone that Tuesday Life is back. I am particularly excited to have all of you here, and I want to say Happy New Year to every single one of you. It is 2025. Hey, Tuesday Life every Tuesday, all the way, and we're still here. We're still here. Tuesday Life in. Now we're going to Tuesday Life for a very long time. Yes, and this is free for everyone. Invite everyone. Tell them to come live with us. You can put it on your story. You can put it on your WhatsApp status. You can put it on your channels, wherever. Parenting knowledge in 2025 is going to take a new turn. It is not the norm. It is not the normal thing you're going to be seeing every day. It's going to drive. I'm sure that Yadas understand what I mean. I'm sure you're thinking, hey, we're still talking about Yadas. Oh, yes, you don't want to know what happened in the yard in 2024 December. It was amazing. Yadas, are you here? If you are, just let me know what your December was like in one word. And then we move, like we say in the yard. Then we moved. Now, let me say this to you. Very important conversation that we would need to have. So many of the struggles we face in parenting today come from deeply ingrained behavior that we have accepted as normal, even though they harm our children and also harm us. But we've looked at them and just said, they are normal. That is what I call normalized nonsense patterns. And they are often passed down through generations. They are disguised as tradition, culture, or the way it has always been done. If you're going to break free from all of this, it requires boldness, introspection, and a willingness to challenge status quo. One of the things that I have said over and over again is that if normalized nonsense is going to become something that we eliminate, then you will need to sit down and review where you are coming from. Something that quite a number of us have refused to do. We have a problem reviewing where we're coming from. And to be candid, where you are coming from, if you are not able to get it, then where you are going becomes really blurred. Do you know where you are coming from? My name is Wendy Ologe, and I'm called Africa's #1 parent coach. Nah. You just don't want to do that. You call me #1 parent coach in the world. And yes, that is a title I'm very willing to take. Thank you so much for doing that. All right. Yes. And in your faces today. But you know, the good news is that the parents in the inner circle didn't miss my voice, my face. They saw me. And I want to say thank you again to everybody who sent greetings our way, who sent my husband and I a gift, who sent us monetary gift, whatever it is, that we really do appreciate every single one of you. Now, let's go. What is normalized nonsense? We're still defining it. It is the behaviors, the beliefs, the parenting patterns that we accept as normal, but which actually undermine our growth and our children's well-being. Now, some of these behaviors, while they actually seem very harmless, they are deeply ingrained in our culture, in our tradition, even in our own parenting approaches. These patterns can feel comfortable because they are very familiar, yeah? So it's comfortable. But they are often a barrier to healthy emotional development and even positive relationship, which includes parenting. Now, just because something is being done a certain way for generations doesn't mean it's good for everyone. Let me say that again. Just because something is being done for a certain way for all the generations that you have known, it does not necessarily mean that it's good for you. Parenting is not a family tradition. Somebody help me write that in the comment section. Parenting is not a family tradition. It's a calling to raise the next generation with wisdom. So that's how we are. That's how we've done it. That is part of normalized nonsense. So if you are actually being called to raise the next generation with wisdom, then it's not about what your tradition is. It's not about what it is that you have done over the years. It's not about how you have done it and how it has actually continued to be. It is about being able to sit down and say, I am called to raise the next generation with wisdom. The question will be, do you really have the wisdom required to raise the next generation? I will leave you to answer that question. But let's run through a bit to look at what normalized nonsense look like. I'm going to share a bit, a few of them, and I'm going to, also be explaining them to you. They are actually quite a lot, all right? And normalized nonsense is something that I've been writing about for a while now. So, and I'm sure if you hear me teach, you hear me talk about normalized nonsense a lot. I'm actually writing about it. And again, I want to actually excitedly tell you today that I'm going to turn 40 this year. Who is excited with me? All the 85 babies, are you guys in the building today? If you are, say aye. And if you're not an 85 baby, what are you doing in all the other years? What the real deal, yeah? I'm actually particularly excited about the year 2005. And yes, I can see people dancing. Yes, 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 yes. It's 40. And yes, it is going to be a break. Part of what I'm doing for my 40th is that I'm writing the making of Wendy Ologe, my message, my miracles, and my methods. You're going to actually be able to read a bit about this person in the last decade. Something really amazing that you want to catch up on. All right. That book is going to be launched on my birthday, my 40th. Yes, somebody said pressure. I can't even laugh. Yes, it is our birthday. It is. We're going to all celebrate together. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. I'm actually excited, right? To get into the 40s. I am. I don't know what it looks like, but I'm excited about the future of being 40. I've looked forward to being 40 since I was 20. So 20 years down the line, I'm excited about today, right? So in March, on the March of 10th of March, I'm going to turn 40, and we're going to actually stop the road from functioning in 1 minute just because I'm turning 40. Don't mind me. Let's go. So number one example of normalized nonsense. Number one example of normalized nonsense is what I call parental martyrdom. You know what parental martyrdom looks like. You know that thing that our parents said, everything I'm doing it because of you people. I don't have any other life again. My life is, finished. Everything I did it for you people. I don't have is parental martyrdom. Because of you people, that's why I've not been able to fulfill my life. Because of you children, I have given up my dreams. Hello, parental martyrdom. You know that thing of losing yourself because you're parenting, believing that self-sacrifice is an ultimate virtue? Wrong. It's normalized nonsense. You lose yourself because you're raising a child. Now, if you are raising a child, the first thing you want to do is to raise yourself also. So any parenting you are doing today that is not raising you, you are on the wrong lane. So all this, I've used all my money here, my school fees, everything I have is for my children. Everything, my life is dependent on them. My children are my life. Well done. You are martyrdoming yourself, if there is anything like that. Parental martyrdom. Don't kill yourself in the name of, you have a destiny to fulfill. FYI. You have a destiny to fulfill. You are also called. Your destiny is not just, then I don't have a child. It's part of your destiny. It is part of your destiny because you are actually a destiny to your child. But unfortunately, if you take in that place where you are raising children without raising yourself, you will fail and you become a martyr. And that's why you watch some of our parents, you see that they've actually raised children. All they did all their lives was raising children. They have 5 children. So if you are in that place where you actually have 5, 6 children, parental martyrdom will be very easy to enter. So our parents entered martyrdom without even knowing it. They killed themselves. All right? Most of them didn't plan for the ages where they are today. And that's why we're having a lot of pressure on the young people. So we're not having people who are in their 20s struggling, these parents who are in their 50s struggling because there's no plan. The only plan you have was that, oh, I have 5 children. They are going to take care of me. Parental martyrdom. Are you raising yourself while you're raising your children? Are you raising yourself while you're raising your children? And this is why if you've just started having children, please believe you me, you do not need to fall into the trap of normalized nonsense. That's trap number one. Don't go and have many children in the name of, it's just something nice to do. You will fall into martyrdom. 2 children, 3 children, settle in, raise your children. Know that you have a life to live with aside parenting. Oh, yes, you do. So all this, I'm doing it all for everything I did. And that's why you're going to go and pay school fees of money you cannot afford because you want to matter yourself. Because you want to say, everything I have is for my children. I live for them. They are my life. My children are my legacy. Newsflash, your children are not your legacy. You are your own legacy. I teach that to parents in the inner circle a lot. We have a Thursday webinar coming up. Yeah, are you even ready? Are you ready for the kind of fire that is coming your way this week? Are you ready? Get ready for Thursday. If you're not a yada, sorry, I would not pity you or pepper you. That's part of it. Come and join us. Book your slot right now and join the next cohort starting on the 1st of December. So, do not be a martyr. This is very important. Your children are not your retirement plan either. You will make your own plans for your own retirement. Do not end up a martyr. Don't spend money you don't have in the name of, once I put all these things into my children, hey, my life will now become better. It is not true. Focus on you also. Is it good for you to sacrifice for your children? Yes. But self-sacrifice is not what we're talking about. That's not the ultimate virtue. Please do not self-sacrifice you. Number two, normalize nonsense. That's how I am. That's how I am. Is the second normalized nonsense. You see that mentality? Using this as an excuse of poor behavior, for harshness, for inconsistency. You said, that's how I am. It doesn't really matter. Does it really matter? That's how I am. That's how it is that my parents raised me. That's what it is that's how I am is normalized nonsense. Let me talk a bit about that's how I am. All right? It's actually a way for you to do lazy parenting. If you are not changing, you are failing. Let me say that again. If you are not changing, you are failing. Every day you do not see changes, you are literally failing. Saying that is just how I am has become a common crutch for many parents to use when their behavior becomes detrimental to a family dynamic. This attitude allows you to justify reactions that hurt or disempower your children. So while it's true that our habits and our personality traits influence how we parent, the truth of the matter is this excuse, right, means that we're not taking responsibility for our actions or even considering how it affects our children. You say things like, I yell because that's how I am. My parents also yelled. They did it to us. We didn't die. Maybe that's what we say. It's part of normalized nonsense. They did it to us. We didn't die. Did we die? The problem is that you don't know whether you died, actually. Someone once said to me, all this intentional parenting thing, our parents called us goats. We did not turn to goat. And I said, look around you. Does it look like, you don't have goats in some people? Some of us actually became goats. Think about it very well. It's normalized nonsense. So all this I yell, that mentality is what perpetuates the cycle of anger, create a toxic emotional environment for your children. Rather than working on yourself, on your emotional triggers, you allow us to control you. And by extension, it controls your relationship with your children because you end up saying, that's how I am. Parents who say that's how I am are excusing bad behaviors that break their children, not build them. I saw my friend here, Tracy, and I remember bad behavior. But if you have a bad behavior to this year, 2025, call yourself out. That's one of the best things you can do to yourself. Call yourself out. Tell yourself today, this yelling is bad behavior. Stop getting angry when someone tells you that you're behaving badly. Sit down and ask yourself, am I not behaving badly with this attitude? No matter how painful it sounds, then sit down and begin to review what it is that you're doing. Self-review is calling yourself out. Many years ago, 10 years ago, I started calling myself out on yelling. And I said to myself, it can't continue like this. Like, it is normal. It's not. Some of you actually scream like mad people. And you say it's normal. How can that be normal? Like, really? How can that be normal? Really? You actually sit back and tell yourself that yelling and screaming on top of your voice on your children is normal. That must be the height of normalized nonsense. And yeah, this is not about condemning you or whatever. I also called myself out some years back. Call yourself out. It's bad behavior. It is actually a bad way to communicate. So our first inner circle class is actually on communication. The family blueprint, creating the family communication blueprint. I want to teach Yadas how to create a blueprint on how communication to work. Most of you don't communicate. Most of you do not communicate. You just scream. You don't know what it looks like because there was a normalized nonsense in your system where you're coming from, and you have continued to normalize it. Well, for you, I can say what I want. Communication. Nobody taught us. We have too extreme. Some of us are extremely too quiet. I don't talk where it is that people are talking. I don't want to say anything. Error. The other extreme is that we say it the way I know it. It doesn't matter. Error. Passive, aggressive, passive communication, aggressive communication. Two extremes that are wrong. Must be able to create a system that allows you to build a blueprint to give your children an advantage. And we're opening that course up for you, who is not a Yada. Yes, you will pay for it because you're a non-Yada. And yes, Yadas, you know what it is. When we say the Yada's advantage, you know. So you can register for it. If you miss the inner circle this year, this is one of the ways to keep yourself updated. It is one of the ways to keep doing things the right way. It is one of the ways to actually continue to do things differently. So instead of 20,500, there's actually an early bird offer of 8,500 for that course. You will learn how to talk properly. Stop saying, that's how I am. Number 3, right? Number 3. That's the other part of normalized nonsense. Talking anyhow. Should we started talking about communication? Talking anyhow. Saying things to your children without regard for their emotional well-being, without regard for their dignity, without regard for who they actually are. It's normalized nonsense. So if you think it's okay to talk anyhow to your children, you already lost the battle for their heart. They may obey you, but they will never trust you. Let me say that again so that you can pick it up. If you ever think that it's okay to talk to your children anyhow, you've already lost the battle for their hearts. They may obey you, but they will never trust you. And when a child doesn't trust you, you lose influence. And when you do, you lose authority. Because authority is not force and control. Authority is trust and respect. When your child can't trust you, you have relinquished your authority, so to say. Normalized nonsense. Let me tell you an example of talking anyhow. You call your child useless when they make mistakes. Are you even stupid, useless? When you dismiss their feeling by saying, hey, you're too sensitive, I beg, I beg, I beg. Everything is too much for you. You mock their efforts. You mock their effort with sarcasm. Like, great job. Maybe you should even try better when you do it next time. You say things like, I don't care what you think because I said so. You dismiss their thoughts, their opinions. You dismiss the way that they talk to you. Words have the power to build or break. When you speak life into your children, it will actually give them life and not wound them. Talking anyhow is a silent killer. You actually think it's just words, but you are poisoning your child's self-worth and trust in you. Let me say that again. Talking anyhow is a silent killer. You actually think that is just words, but you are poisoning your child's self-worth and trust in you. That's what you're doing. So all these, you can just say what you want to say. You say what you want to say. After all, I'm the parent. After all, I'm the one that is, according to my son. Say you just put out your hands like this, mommy. After all, I'm the one that I'm the authority figure. I can say what you want to say. Remember, authority is transient. When I see how children treat their parents, I smile. That's exactly how you treated them. Because authority is very transient. Don't lose the battle of your children even before you get started. They may obey you, but they will stop to actually trust you. Number 4, normalize nonsense. Shaming as discipline. You believe that embarrassment will teach them a lesson. Or you believe that when you show them, I will show you pepper. That's discipline. Normalize nonsense. You teach them, all these, you think about it's just about teaching your child, it's actually generational damage you are willing to let continue. A child does something, you just shame them. A child does something, you inflict pain. Your understanding of discipline is actually that you can hit a child. No, that's you being angry, man, sir. That's not you being disciplined. They are two different things. We equate anger, frustration to discipline. And that's why when the real matter of discipline is being discussed, none of us actually are able to get to the point where we actually are disciplined. You can't follow through. We started the inner circle. That's, of course, when we just started. By the first 1-2 weeks, people were shouting, hey, oh, are you sure? Why? Because you come into a system that is so structured. Your normalized nonsense was being detached. But right now, everybody's getting it. One of the things that the inner circle teaches you is structure. And one of the things that we never got from our parenting is structure. What we got is a lot of chaos. Even our discipline is chaotic. See, if that your discipline has noise, it destroys. So your discipline is not supposed to be noisy for it to be discipline. Discipline is not even a public display. Some of you want to actually shout on your children right in front of visitors so that you can prove. That's you asserting yourself, dear mother and father. That's you actually just proving to yourself. It is you are feeding your flesh, your ego. That's what you're feeding. You are doing nothing to the child. So all you are saying to that child is that, see, you're telling people that, see, I am that parent. I know. Think about it. Anytime you shout at your children in public, what do you aim to achieve? You don't aim to correct the child. You just aim to prove a point. And like we say in the yard, you get to a point when you have nothing to prove to anybody, not even to yourself. And when you get there, then it makes a whole lot of sense to you. So this public display of discipline, all this reporting your child to one auntie or the other, that's not discipline. That's normalized nonsense. What you're saying is that you don't have the ability, the capability to actually be able to lead your children. So you're calling, hey, I will report you to this person. I will call auntie. This person will call. One child will do one thing. All the family members in the country will speak to the child. Why? That's a failure on your part. You cannot sit down to actually look at discipline and actually foster a system that will help your child to actually be disciplined. And hey, if your discipline is at the time when a child does something, that's why you are calling fire and brimstone. That's a failed disciplinary strategy. So normalized nonsense is you screaming that your child has done something and you want to solve the problem right there and then. Most of our parents did that, but you know the truth. Did you become disciplined? No. I have been privileged to work with parents in the past 7 years. The biggest or the highest number of people who are so indisciplined are not. Why? It wasn't inculcated in us. The problem is, even reading a book is a big deal. Why do you think that is? Is because some of us were not actually raised to understand discipline in the real sense of it. We were just raised with frustration and anger, normalized nonsense. That's why you get into the inner circle. One of the first things that people are afraid of doing is to read. Why? Because there is a system that you created or you actually lived that didn't teach you how to sit and take responsibility. Most of us, our parents blamed us for everything, including taking away their lives. Normalized nonsense. And that's indiscipline. When you begin to blame the next person for taking away your life, then parenting martyrdom. That was our number one. Parenting martyrdom. Because for our parents, all right, they blamed us for not being able to go to school. Yeah. Some of our parents will say, you children are the reason why I didn't do my master's, I didn't do my PhD. My father said he didn't finish his degrees. Was it PhD or master's? I can't even remember. Because he had to draw, because he had to. I don't get it. Am I the one that sent you? Hello, sir. That's parenting martyrdom. Somebody said I should pause and drink water. Nah, yeah, that's even coming on Thursday. I will not even pause and drink. You know, I'm very gentle today. I'm trying to hold myself so that people who are not in the yard don't get scared. So that you don't say, I listen to that coach. I don't think I want to listen to her. You know, I'm trying to be very, 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 on this. So, bottom line, our upbringing didn't teach us discipline. It didn't. It taught us blame. That's why most of us will sit down and blame an uncle who is in the village who is carrying our star. Hello. That's why some of us will sit down and blame certain village people for our misfortunes. Come on now. We can't take responsibility for what is happening in our lives. You can't take a responsibility for what the things that it is that you have done. Because even yelling, our parents blamed us for hitting us. They will hit you and say, you are the one that made me hit you. You also are doing it. Normalized nonsense. Let's go on. I'm going to stop here. I'm going to teach a lot about normalized nonsense at the communication class. That will be part of the module that we're teaching, and we're going to also expand on it. Emotional suppression. That's the next normalized nonsense. That's the next normalized nonsense. Teaching, we learned how to just toughen up. Just don't talk about it. You dismiss feelings. So a baby was in my house over the holiday, and then the baby cried, and they just rushed and gave the baby something to hold so that it stops crying. I said, no, not here. Allow him to cry. Normalized nonsense. We stop children from expressing emotions because we think that some emotions should not be allowed to be expressed. Why? So we suppress it. So we actually tell our children things. Stop crying, stop crying. That's when you hit a child and you tell the child not to cry, and then you hit the child again. Normalized nonsense. I was in a plane one of those days and I saw a child who was crying. The dad just like crying. The next, the mom gave her tablet. The mom gave her phone. The mom gave her chewing gum, sweet, everything. The child stopped crying. Do you know what you have done? You have robbed that child of the ability to be able to come in contact with who they are. They don't know who they are. You suppress their emotions, and somewhere in your head, you're saying, "Hey, I just don't want children crying." Have you noticed that most of us get irritated when a child cries? Have you ever thought why? Normalized nonsense. Because we think that some emotions are actually not supposed to be expressed. That's why you get angry when people get angry. Why are you angry that someone is angry? You are upset that somebody is crying. Why are you upset that somebody is crying? Like, really, think about it. We don't like children hearing the noise. I don't want children making noise. So every time when you come, you shut them out. Have you ever seen? How do you expect children to behave like adults? When you do, you kill who they should become. Most of us, like me, that is in my 40s. So all of the people that are in their 40s will no longer do inyanga for me for being in the 40s. I have joined you guys. Like those of us are in our 40s, 50s, 60s. The truth is, we don't know who we are because there was a lot of normalized nonsense around us. And if you don't begin to tell yourself the truth, see, you will remain this way. Some of us are in our 50s. That's when you started recognizing yourself. You know, sometimes you're going to be in the inner circle. 3, 4, 4 months into the yard, you're realizing who you are. And you're asking yourself, who have I been? Who have I been? Next month, we're going to be talking about becoming an emotionally intelligent parent course. It's a course you want to prepare for and attend. But let's talk about communication in the time. Hey, this year is going to be very hot, right? Let's go. The next one is over rewarding. Rewarding and bribing. Normalized nonsense. You create an external dependence rather than fostering an intrinsic motivation. Instead of you to actually look at how you can help your child grow from within. You can help your child grow from within. You help them, you keep them, you bribe them for everything. So now we're talking about discipline, right? Let me have the book. So now we're talking about discipline, all right? Now we're talking about discipline. And you find out that quite a number of us are now saying, I don't want to do what it is that my children have done. I don't want them to suffer. That's another normalized nonsense. We won't even go there. And by the time that you begin to find out, you now replace what proper discipline, because you haven't really learned what proper discipline means. So you replace what proper discipline means, you now replace it with over rewarding and bribing. You begin to bribe your children to do things. You create a standard dependency rather than actually motivating your children from inside. I've heard quite a number of parents say, "Oh, I promise my children when they do well in school, I buy them something." Believe you me, it's not like it's a bad thing to say, but trust me, it doesn't build intrinsic motivation. It's an external dependency. And when you're creating external dependency on things, there's limitation to how far you can go. There's a limitation to how far you can go. So this is something, right, that you actually would need to take a look at. The next one is overbearing control. Overbearing control. And I'm talking about proper discipline. I've written quite a number of works on discipline. Where's discipline? Discipline that works. Can I get a copy? All right. I've written quite a number of works of discipline on discipline. This is my book, Discipline is Not an Emergency. If you want to learn about discipline, all right, one of the things you want to do is get these books. Discipline that works. Discipline is not an emergency. And also get Connect to Correct. Connect to Correct. Connect to Correct is the current book that we're reading now. And I can tell you for free, that's the first place to even start. We're reading this in our level 1 inner circle. Connect to Correct. So if you are interested in really learning about discipline, then trust me, you need to actually begin to rework what it is that you know. Your disciplinary system is something you need to rework. And if you listen to me and say, I heard one code that say we should not beat our children, we should keep quiet when you will become this person that over reward and bribe. And that's not teaching discipline in any way. You will mess your children up. Let's go to the last one, overbearing control. Overbearing control, where you micromanage every aspect of your child's life so that your child does not make mistakes. I do not want my children to suffer then. Are you here? Raise your hand. I don't want children to suffer. You cannot go out there. There's a lion everywhere. Yeah, are you ready to hear that there is no lion anywhere on Thursday? Because our Thursday webinar is travel skills. Come ready. It's so interesting that we want to actually control everything and end up having children who do not understand failure. Because somewhere in your mind, you don't want failure at all because you think failure is a bad thing. So I wrote this book last year, The Trophy Child. One thing that I wrote in this Trophy Child is that every single one parent of today in the 21st century wants to actually raise a trophy child, thereby removing the ability for your child to do anything. So your child will just become a trophy, celebrated with accolades and achievements. All those achievements, all A's. Somebody asked me, I don't see you celebrate a lot of all A's with your children. You rather celebrate, that a child commanded the parade, is resilient, cooked. I said, because that's what really matters in life. Am I saying that school does not matter? No, but life is not about maths and English. If that's the only thing your child knows, they will fail completely. Look around you now. Those of us who made first class, top of the class, who are we? Do we run companies? No, we don't. We don't, because that's not the core of how to actually control life itself. The core of being able to actually be in control of life is to be able to build your skills. Because at the end of the day, you will need to understand that these things are at the core of your making. So is it okay for children to pass maths and English? Trust me, it is. Our son was the highest in further maths. My children get tops of the class, but it's not something that I'm interested in jumping around for. My daughter was first in technical drawing in school. Our children do well in school, very well, as in very, very well, extremely well. Like, we're proud. But trust me, the truth is, that's not what it is. That is not what it is that controls life. That's not it. It's bigger than that. So I don't want my children to come out of the class and that's the thing. That's the topic you're calling about. What's that? And then at the end of the day, you can't even produce nothing. You can't create nothing. So don't become that parent who is overbearing in control. You want to control everything. You want to control how the life of your children would go. You want to control everything about them. You don't want them to make mistakes. You don't want them to go out. You don't want them to move out. Oh, there's lion everywhere. Oh, come on. Now you guys, as in, is that a joke? And then when you're done, I see 26-year-old, recently, a child was going to come to my house. She's in university. And the mother was monitoring her. Also, where are you now? Oh, you're not supposed to come out of this. I was like, what's popping? I mean, well, I have 15-year-olds. The twins are going to be 15 in a few months. And they were in the market the other day, even when they went and came back. Like, I don't get it. Supposed to be jumping up and down for 15-year-olds. Meanwhile, some of you are jumping up and down. They're taking your children by hand. You need to write down, take them by hand. You need to take them, you carry them, It's all right. Let me just stop there. Let me stop there so I can move forward. Now, how do you stop normalized nonsense in your parenting? Someone is asking about Inner Circle 2025. The ark is closed and Noah's key has been taken away. Noah does not have the key to the ark. I'm sure that others will interpret that to you in the comment section. Oh, but what that means is that you will not be able to join the 2025 Inner Circle program because our program starts on the 1st of December of the year. So if you want to meet up for 2026 Inner Circle, book your slot now. As you're listening to me, you book a slot with 10,000 naira. The year is 120,000 naira for single. If you're coming as a couple, you pay 200K. So book now so you don't miss it. We don't start to prepare you by January next year because we're not going to stop. All right. So yet, how do you stop normalized nonsense in your parenting? But let me see your comment in the comment section. Are you enjoying this session? Did you get something in this session? Has this session been meaningful to you? If it has, have you invited someone? Did you share this link to your family and friends? Get them to listen, because today parenting has gone beyond I asked ChatGTP, or I asked on Google, or I asked on AI. It is about wisdom. What I'm teaching you is not what you're going to ask ChatGTP. It is wisdom. If you do not have wisdom, you can't parent in the 21st century. And that's what you need. That's a key core aspect of your journey. That's the key core aspect. And if you haven't been able to, you're not a yada, you've not registered for the blueprint. We call it the Family Communication Blueprint class. You want to register now, because that class is going to save your head. Literally, trust me. It's going to happen in the 3rd week in January. That's our very first class. It's an inner circle class, but we're opening it up because a lot of people have been coming to us to say, so where do I start? So just help us, whatever. Let's attend some of the courses. So you attend the academic courses, and then we'll have a few of the inner circle courses that will open up. But the Thursday webinars, no, we're not opening up to you. You will be confused, so we don't want to do that. All right? So let's go. Somebody's saying, I'm getting more than value. Make sure you're sharing with your family and your friends, and make sure that the link is on your status. This year, we're going all out to ensure that we have people reaching, to actually attend the Tuesday webinars. This is 609 people. Almost, we're getting there. Let's hit 1,000 on Tuesday Live. That will be a goal. Are you going to help us hit 1,000 live streams on Tuesday Live? Let's go there so that we can get it going. But let's go. Most parenting problems are not about the children. They are about the parents who refuse to confront this normalized nonsense. Number one thing you want to do is you need to reflect on your intentions. Are your actions about teaching your children, or is it about controlling them? Ask yourself, what's the ultimate goal here? Somebody once said in one of the yards that, oh, coach, I want to really teach my child a lesson. I said, what is the meaning of teach my child a lesson? I said, because I want to really make it in a way it will pain my child. I said, now you have missed the goal. See, the inner circle is a place to be. Some of the things that you learn, you can't learn it elsewhere. You learn on the go. A comment is a study. Everything is there's so much to actually, get. There's so much to get. All right. So number 2, you need to notice the pattern. There is a repeated pattern. Is there a repeated pattern that you have around you? Are there moments that you keep reacting in frustration, or you resort to strategies that leave everyone worse off? You are that person, and you just hit someone. You are constantly having, you say it's reflex. Some of you have reflex hand. Before you know it, you do, your child have collected. My children call it mass moves. He said, the way they talk in my class, how parents give mass moves and you just collect. If you are in that person, you don't know when it happened. That's part of it. Normalized nonsense. Normalized nonsense is part of it. Are there moments that you actually keep reacting in frustration, or you resort to strategies that is just making them, you are yelling? I have a book from yelling to come. I told you that me too, I'm coming from a lot, like we say in the yard. So I wrote this after I started my journey on how to go from being a yeller to being a calm parent. I had to start with my parenting because it was very important for me. Coach Joy said it's called hard reset. And you don't even know when you do it. And if you're in that space where you are actually having hard reset, according to Joy, it is actually normalized nonsense. Listen to your child's feedback. Listen to your child's feedback. Children may not always say it directly, but their resistance, their rebellion, their withdrawal can point to an underlying issue. When a child is misbehaving, sit down first and think. Stop shouting and say, it's this child. I don't know where he learned it from. It is from you. Is either what you have done or what you have failed to do that have caused that reaction. So when I say that if parenting is about you, I mean every single word. That's my most profound quote in this book. Parenting is about you. Most times when parents hear it, they fight. Because one of the things that they think is that, why will you say it's about me? One of the children who are misbehaving, the other day I said, that one of the things you must note about parenting is that if your child is misbehaving, you are to blame. Some people went there arguing up and down. What do you mean? Hey, yeah. Do we blame God when we do something? I don't have time for plenty social media arguments. When you really want my counsel, you come to me, and then I will give you my counsel, because my counsel is paid for. Oh, FYI, if you're going to do a one-on-one session, if you join the inner circle now, it's part of one of the things that will save you, right? You know, one-on-one session now is 200K for an hour session. And trust me, when you sit down with me for an hour, you will see your problem resolved. That's the truth. So wisdom is different. It's not access to anyhow, as in it's not just you just know it. My parenting is not notebook. No, it's not notebook. It is wisdom from above. And I stand on the authority of Jesus to say it. It is wisdom from above. Right? So, and the people started to say, I know it's not me. The truth is, any misbehavior, who do you think God is going to ask when a child is not well raised? You think God is going to blame himself? No. God will blame you because you are responsible. You are responsible. Either way you did it, you're inside. It's either you did it or you didn't do it. IMB. Either you did it or you didn't do it. All right? This is very important. What another way to actually spot normalized nonsense? So what is asking, how do you get access to my books? Oh, you can get access to my books on Amazon, and you can also get copies. The team will share the link to the distributors in the comment section. I'm sure they can hear me. All right. And also you can chat any of the numbers, WhatsApp numbers, scrolling, and they will be able to direct you. Or you can go on Instagram, you see Books by Wendy Ologe. Or you can email Books by Wendy Ologe also. And you'll be able to send us a DM and you'll be able to process your book. So to get our book is actually very easy. Or you can go on Seller and get our e-copies, right? So let's go. Compare with your values. That's another way to spot normalized nonsense. Compare with your values. Does this behavior align with the kind of relationship you want with your child? Does it reflect the legacy that you want to leave? Does it reflect it? Does it reflect it? So at the end of the day, it comes back to us. What do you need to do? How do you replace normalized nonsense with intentional parenting, which is why we're here? The first thing you want to do is that you want to actually learn communication, which is why I said stop shaming, start teaching. You want to learn communication. That's actually a very key aspect of this conversation. Learn communication. And that's why that course on creating a family communication blueprint. If you're not in the inner circle, jump in now. It will save you. Jump in, like literally, the details are on my screen. Just jump in, attend this course, and it will be, in fact, your life will change. Because all this, oh, you're lazy, why don't you do it right, and all of that. You can actually replace criticism with constructive guidance. I hear people say constructive criticism. It's constructive guidance. There's nothing like constructive criticism. Criticism is inside. Constructive guidance. When you are done, do you guide the person to where they should be going to? Should be going to. And that's one thing that you need. So you need to learn how to communicate. So the goal is to teach skills, not assign blames. But if you do not know how to do it, you will assign blames without knowing. Because you're going to constantly be blaming a child even for the things that you should be doing. So I'm going to be teaching in that class how to replace criticism with constructive guidance. Replace it, you will replace it. And I'll teach you how to go step by step to guide. Truth is, we didn't learn it. We can't blame our parents. We can only take responsibility. It's not a blame game. We can only take responsibility. So if your guidance is not actually guiding constructively, then your guidance is wrong. Your guidance is wrong. You need to ask yourself, is this guidance actually guiding constructively? Number two, what you want to do One of the things that I need you to understand is that when you don't parent with intentions, you leave your children to be shaped by the words, toxic influences, anything, anywhere belief is. So intentional parenting is not a choice. Intentional parenting is not a choice. Intentional parenting is not, intentional parenting is a must. If you must build the kind of legacy that you're looking for. Number two, feelings are not weakness. You need to encourage emotional expression. It's okay for your child to be angry. But you don't know it because you haven't also learned how to manage your own emotions. So you see, you need to actually learn it yourself. So teach emotional regulation by teaching yourself first. So when you teach your children to manage their emotion, you start with you managing yours. Another thing that you want to do is to empower, don't overpower. Empower, don't overpower. Empower, don't overpower. Let your children be able to make age appropriate decisions. Let them learn from consequences. What do you think we should do? Instead of always dictating a solution, control may win in the moment, but empowerment wins in the future. Let me say that again. Control may win in the moment, but empowerment actually is what wins in the future. Somebody's asking me if there's a resource for emotional managing emotions and emotional regulation. Now we have a book called Raising the Emotionally Skilled Child. And get ready also to attend the Becoming the Emotionally Intelligent Parent course. That's a course you don't want to miss, even if you miss every. Right? You can get a copy of this book, Raising the Emotionally Skilled Child. Whatever resource you need in parenting, we are the first to produce it. Empower, don't overpower, because the idea is not to control. Right? The last one, parent yourself first. Reparenting is a must. You need to begin to address your own triggers, your own unresolved issues. Ask yourself, am I parenting from my wounds or from my wisdom? I want you to settle that in. Ask yourself, am I parenting from my wounds or from my wisdom? If you're not parenting from wisdom, you're parenting from your wounds. That's WOUNDS. So parent yourself first. When you get into the inner circle, when you get into our courses, what we're doing is that we are reparenting you. That's what we're doing. Because you cannot give what you do not have. So we have what we call the Monday wisdom notes from Coach Wendy. Every Monday to inner circle parents only. Is a mail that goes out to inner circle parents every week. And in the last one, I talked about growth. And I talked about how you would need to actually build and resolve your issues to actually be able to grow. Most of us are parenting from our wounds. We're not parenting from wisdom. So today, I need you to actually make a decision. Now, you want to parent from wisdom. How do you parent from wisdom? Begin to attend parenting classes. This is a very, typical example. Attend the family communication blueprint course. Is a new guy on the block, like we say in the inner circle. A new guy on the block, first of its kind in the academy. The family communication blueprint course would actually open you up to a lot. You actually begin to see that what it is that you have been doing have actually been it's not the way to go. Dr. Abin said, I love wisdom notes. Yeah, wisdom notes is one of my best times in the yard, because every Monday I sit down to just read the responses from wisdom notes. I love it. And I love creating wisdom notes as well. And when you read this wisdom notes, you will know that it's not we just want to show you chat GTP. No. It's called wisdom notes for a reason. Wisdom notes for a reason. If you're not joining the yard, you're not booked for the upcoming session. That's how we start shouting it from January. Book, enter the inner circle for 2026. When we now finish on body, you now see people coming. Hey, I didn't know I would have registered and all of that. Start now that you're hearing it. And while you are at it, you are waiting for the inner circle. Please register for the short courses. It's going to turn your life around. What is the cost of normalized nonsense? Parenting is not just a skill, it's a reflection of your own character. You can't teach what you haven't lived. I say that again. Parenting is not just a skill, it's a reflection of your own character. You can't teach what you haven't lived. Some of us want to teach what we have not lived. Hmm. Unexamined pattern will lead to broken relationship. Children will feel unheard, unloved. They will withdraw. Unexamined pattern, you will see emotional damage, shame, control. It creates insecurity and shows adults. Most of us are so insecure that we cannot make comments in a public forum like this. Yeah, I was listening to the Gulf when he was talking about the induction. My husband is the marriage counselor and he runs the couples conclave of the Marriage Still Academy. All right, conclave, are you guys here? Right. So on Sunday, there was induction. And while he was speaking, he was saying, he said, see, all those you are in a community, you say, I don't want to say anything and all of that. It's not humility. It's actually you having self-esteem issues, but you don't know it. You don't know it. It's a reflection of your own character. So those emotional damage, that creating a sense of insecurity, creating a sense of anxiousness, is part of it. Stay in a community, you find yourself, you're not able to say, no. I don't like, I don't like mixing up with, people like that and all of that. No, it's not even pride. It's not even pride. It is not pride at all. It is actually self-esteem issues. It's a level of self-esteem issues. But Professor Christine Sweken said, let me now shout. I'm not a conclavite. Conclavites, I see you guys. So breaking the cycle is not just about your child's future. It's about healing generations of harm. That's what it is. Sometimes it's even shame. It's even trauma that you're not able to actually see yourself in a place and talk about something. It's part of it. Some of you don't even want people to know that you're learning about this parenting. So you cannot put this on your DP. I smile. Do you know what it is? It is trauma, part of self-esteem issues. You don't want people to know that you're learning parenting, so that they will not know that there's a place I'm learning this thing. It's not pride. You think it's pride. No, it's not. It's not even know-how. Hey, it is self-esteem issues. That's what it is. So come down from your high horse and tell yourself, I have actually not been able. We have 617 people watching. There are people who will never make comments in this kind of forum. And you say, I just want to stay quiet. I just want to talk and that. Yeah, it's understandable if you're busy, but trust me, most times it's actually a self-esteem issue. Most times you don't even want people to know that you're here. Most times you don't want people to know that you are learning about marriage, you're learning about parenting. It's not pride. You're battling with something in your childhood that you need to deal with. My time is running off. Key takeaways. Normalize the right things. Teach respect, communication, emotional intelligence, not fear and blind obedience. We know what it is, that fear and blind obedience. Yeah. So in my book, Raising the Trophy Child, raising the independent thinking child, not the trophy child. Raising the independent thinking child. I wrote about blind obedience. Very, very important. This is something that you want to pay attention to. Very key. Heal yourself, lastly. Secondly, parent with purpose, right? Parent with intentions. And lastly, heal yourself. Heal yourself. Heal yourself. How many times did I say it? Heal yourself. The most profound, important thing you will need to learn on your journey as an adult, who is the parent today, is to heal yourself. Parenting is much about fixing your own pattern as it is about shaping your own children. So what you want to do is that you want to actually heal yourself. Heal yourself. That's an important part of the journey. Heal yourself. When you reject normalized nonsense, you embrace intentional parenting. You are not just raising your children. You are building a legacy of love. You are building a legacy of growth. And you're building a legacy of wisdom. Wisdom. See, Blessing said, those that are always talking in conference in my mind, they are over sabi people. That's it. Over sabi. You just thought them, all the people, they are over sabi people. Have you ever seen a silent expert before? Ever in your life? Every expert is loud. The world belongs to the bold and the loud, not the silent and the skilled. If you are skilled and silent, you would actually die unknown, no matter how skilled you are. Thank you very much for joining me today. I am particularly excited about this year. Are you going to join us and continually join us? Join us in this course. If you're not a yada, the Family Communication Blueprint course is for you. And if you've not gotten our books, all our books are available with all distributors and also available in our office in Abuja and also available with all distributors in Abuja. So everywhere, anywhere you are. We have distributors in Scotland now. We have in the UK. We have in so many places in Netherlands, in Australia, and name it. Anywhere you are, you can get. Can we get your books with CDs by this? I mean, oh, you mean voice over? We're working on our books and the voice. We have a few copies that we're actually working on bringing it on so that we will be able to have audio books. But for now, we don't. We have ebooks, and you can use an audio reader, right? And you'll be able to deal with it. Sylvia Ebo is 1 hour, looks like very short today. What is it? Meet me in the yard now. You hear my voice all day, round day. And without even that, of course, you hear my voice. Are you ready for workers meeting on Thursday? We know. All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining me today. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I am particularly excited about you choosing to be here. I do not take your time for granted. And trust me, this course, the Family Communication Blueprint course, it's going to change your life literally. You're going to see it posted on all our social media, outlet for you to be able to register. Even if you've been attending the course, so attend this one. It's for you. All right. Yeah, that's of course we already know that this is compulsory for them to attend. But for people who are not in the yard and looking for how they are going to run through their parenting in this year, this is an opportunity you do not want to miss. My name is Wendy Ologe. I'm called the Vice Chancellor of the Intentional Parent Academy. It is an honor to have you guys meet me here every Tuesday. See you again on Tuesday Live. Next week, same time, right here at the Cathedral. We call our YouTube channel the Cathedral. You want to be here. Thank you and have an amazing, amazing rest of the week.